Hi, and welcome to the second e-seminar task on business case studies, looking specifically at business case studies, section 4 of your HSC exam. So this screenshot, which we're going to refer to for most of the video, is from the 2015 HSC, and it is the page specifically on the case study, or section 4. You can see that at the top, section 4, you can see it's worth 20 marks. Underneath that, as we discussed in the previous video, it says allow about 35 minutes for this section. I just want to point out that should be more like 50 or 55 minutes. 35 minutes is calculated just because it's 20 marks. It should be more like 50 or 55 minutes. This is what we call the marking rubric or the marking guidelines. It's really important that you are aware of this and what it means, because this is exactly what you'll be assessed on. As it says, your answer will be assessed on how well you do each of these 4 things. So it's really important that you do these 4 things. Demonstrate knowledge and understanding relevant to the question, which we'll look at again in more detail, but basically answer the question and show that you know your stuff. The second dot point there, though, is really important, and that's to apply relevant business case study or case studies and contemporary business issues. So that answers one question in terms of we can how many case studies to refer to. It doesn't have to be just one. It says clearly there, business case study or case studies. As a rule of thumb, try to refer to one case study or one example per point you're making. Now that might be that you make 6 points and you refer to 6 different case studies, or you make 6 points using just one case study. It doesn't matter. As long as you're using business case studies or study, it does not matter. Communicate using relevant business terminology and concepts. So that's using the language you've been taught in class, the sophisticated language, the business terminology, so the words that you learn in class in particular. And then finally, a sustained, logical and cohesive response. So that's a response that's well set out, body, paragraphs, conclusion, introduction, all these sort of things really clearly set out. You can see that that's part of what you marked on, making it clear. And in yellow there in the middle. That's the key bit that makes it different. The rest of that is the same as how you will be assessed in your business report section 3. The yellow bit is different. In section 3, it will say something about in a business report format and applying to the hypothetical business situation. Here you can see it's about case studies. Okay, so we're going to break down the question as well. So you can see you get a choice, either question 27 or question 28. You can see that at the bottom. You can see that one of those questions is on finance and the other is on operations, or operations and finance to keep it in order. And generally speaking, or always, it will be on a single topic and 2 different topics. You can see that both of these questions from 2015 focused on the strategies, so the operation strategies and then the financial management strategies. That's the last section of your syllabus, as you'd be getting the hang of now. Each of your syllabus sections go through role, influence, process, strategies, and the strategies is what each of these 2 questions are examining. And finally, you can see in the question, both are looking at linking to business, what I like to call business success. Okay, so in the first one, it's achieving competitive advantage. Now, achieving competitive advantage is a form of business success. And in the second, improving business performance, again, linking and leading to business success. Now, the final thing we need to look at are some writing conventions. So when we're writing a business report, a business case study, how we write and what it looks like. And there's a table there for you. So on the left-hand side, some things we do use and the way we do it. So we do business terminology, use business terminology, and you saw that earlier. Logical structure, paragraphs, introduction, body, conclusion. You must answer the question that is asked. So don't write generally about the topic. You can see that on the right hand side. Don't write generally about the topic. Write specifically about the question asked. So for the previous 2 questions, specifically about finance strategies or operation strategies as linked to the question. Using language from this question and the syllabus. So on the previous question, I think it was about competitive advantage, improving business performance. You would use that throughout your response. And the final point there on the left-hand side is to prove your statements by using specific information. So don't just say it, prove it. Okay, so don't say, oh, and thus improving business success or business performance. Prove it. So Apple, for example, in the last quarter of 2014 made an $18 billion profit. They sold 75 million iPhone 6s. Those sort of statistics prove business success. So prove it with some specific information. On the right-hand side, you can see not to use slang or colloquial language. So don't talk about getting rich or making heaps of money, this sort of thing. Okay, we use formal language. That's really important. And then the third point there, write in the first person. Sorry, don't write in the first person. So that's things like I or the second person you. We don't write like that. We write the business or Apple or Google. We don't write I or you or we. Okay, we don't write those sort of things, but rather in the third person. We remove ourselves from it. And then finally, don't just write theoretical content. You must use business case studies. Very, very important. At the bottom, the very last point is it's optional to use subheadings. So if you want to use subheadings the way you did in a business report, if that makes your life easier, go for it. Use subheadings. So that sums up what we want to do and try and achieve in this week's seminar. Hopefully it gives you a better understanding of business case studies and what's required with business case studies, section 4 of your HSC. If there's any sections you need to review, I encourage you to go back and review that. Don't forget to jump in and do the quiz. And good luck. Any questions, please ask your teachers. Thank you.